Yu-Gi-Oh! The Basics. Welcome, duelist, to the world of Duel Monsters, a game of strategy, skill, and the heart of competition. To succeed, you must first understand the different types of cards that form the foundation of every duel. There are three primary types of cards in Duel Monsters: spell cards, trap cards, and monster cards. Each card type plays a crucial role in shaping your strategy and determining the outcome of a duel. Let's begin with spell cards. These cards allow you to perform a wide range of actions, from enhancing your monster's abilities to changing the rules of the game temporarily. Spell cards can be played directly from your hand during your turn, providing immediate effects that can tip the scales into your favor. This is a normal spell card. This type of card can be played on your turn during the main phase and will usually start a chain in which your opponent can respond. Afterwards, when the spell card is resolved, it will go to the graveyard unless stated on the card itself. The rest of the subtypes have an icon that differentiates them from the regular spell cards. This icon sits next to the spell card text under the name of the card. Quick play spells are denoted by the lightning bolt icon next to the spell card text. These can be activated during your turn, but unlike other types of spells, you can chain them to other types of cards. You also have the ability to activate them on your opponent's turn, but only if you had set them on a previous turn, just like a trap card. This gives you the flexibility to respond to changing situations on the field. Their speed and adaptability make them a valuable part of any strategy. Ritual spells are used to special summon powerful ritual monsters by offering other monsters as tribute, whose level match or exceed the level of the ritual monster. Equipped spells enhance your monsters by granting them additional abilities or by increasing their strength. By carefully selecting the right equipped spell, you can turn even a basic monster into a force to be reckoned with. These cards stay on the field until the face-up monster it is equipped to is removed from the field, or the card itself is removed by another card's effect. Field spells affect the entire battlefield, changing the environment to your benefit or to disrupt your opponent's strategies. These cards can have a lasting effect on the duel, so choosing the right field spell is crucial. Each player has their own unique zone on the field that can only be populated by one field spell at a time. If you play another field spell, the previous field spell is sent to the graveyard. Continuous spells remain active on the field, providing ongoing benefits or hindrances throughout the duel. These spells offer sustained support for your strategy, ensuring that their effects endure as long as the card stays in play. Like the field spell, it remains on the field until it's either removed by its own effect or by another card's effect. As you can see, spell cards have a versatile use in the game of Duel Monsters. Make sure to use them wisely in building your deck. But there is another layer of strategy you must be ready for.
You mean trap cards, right, Yugi?
My, perfect timing. Why don't you take over in explaining the next set of cards?
Thanks, Yugi. Now let's go over how trap cards work in the game. cards also come in different forms. Let's take a look at each type of card and see how it works. Trap cards must first be set onto the field for one full turn before they can be activated. Traps activate at spell speed 2 or higher. This means if another card is activated, you have a chance to respond by chaining a trap that's already been set to the field. This is a normal trap card. You can activate these when the condition of the card has been met. For example, Mirror Force can only be activated when your opponent's monsters declares an attack. Some cards don't need specific conditions and can just be activated any time after the turn that they have been set. Continuous traps remain active on the field after activation, providing ongoing effects that can control the flow of the game. These cards can create long-term challenges for your opponent, giving you the upper hand over time. Counter traps are designed to respond to specific actions by your opponent, often negating their most powerful moves. To make matters worse for your opponent, counter traps can only be responded to by other counter traps. Timing is critical when using counter traps. Activate them at the right time, and you can completely disrupt your opponent's plans. These cards are important pieces in the game. If you can trick your opponent into activating these during a duel, you can be sure to edge your way into a victory. Choose wisely when adding them into your deck. Now, let's move on to the most important card type of the game.
Oh yeah? What card type is that, Mai?
I'm talking about monster cards, Joey.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you take over and explaining how monster cards work in the game?
Thanks, Mai. Now let's go check out some monster cards. Some of these monsters can really pack a punch. Finally, we come to the most crucial cards in the game, monster cards. These are the creatures that you summon to fight for you on the field. Each monster has its own strength, weakness, and special abilities. Mastering the use of each monster card is the key to winning in Duel Monsters. Monster cards come in several different types, each offering unique strategic options. Let's talk about the properties that all monster cards share between them. First, we have the attribute symbol. This symbol appears in the top right of the card. All monsters have one of 6 attributes, with one special attribute being reserved for the all-powerful Egyptian god cards. These are light, dark, earth, wind, fire, and water. The last is the attribute only given to the Egyptian god cards. The second property that all cards share is the type. All monsters have a type that is located in the text box under the card artwork. Monsters also have an attack and defense stat located at the bottom of the card text box. The last thing to cover is the level. Most monster cards have a level, barring a few types. The level is shown by the number of stars under the name of the monster. There can be a maximum of 12 levels, with 1 being the minimum. These also serve a purpose in the game, as level 4 or lower monsters can be summoned to the field with no cost. To summon a higher level monster, you need to tribute other monsters on the field. When you tribute a monster, it is sent to the card graveyard. Level 5 to 6 monsters only need 1 tribute, while level 7 or higher monsters require 2 monsters to be tributed. Normal monsters are straightforward. This type of card goes in the main deck. They have no special abilities, but they can serve as the foundation of your strategy. With their raw attack and defense power, these cards have flavor text in the text box but do not have effects. Next up, we have effect monsters. These have special abilities that can be activated to gain advantage in the duel, such as drawing extra cards, destroying opponents' cards, summoning additional monsters, stopping your opponent's plays, and many more effects that can help you add depth and complexity to your strategy. Ritual monsters also live in the main deck. But unlike the previous monster cards, these cards cannot be normal summoned and must be ritual summoned by using the corresponding spell card. And so, these monsters have powerful abilities that can help you win the duel. The next set of cards live in the extra deck. Fusion monsters are created by combining two or more monsters using a fusion spell card. These monsters, called fusion materials, get sent from your hand or field to the graveyard. The monsters required to summon a fusion monster is listed in the card text box. These powerful creatures often possess abilities far greater than their individual components. When a fusion monster is special summoned to the field, it can totally flip the script on a duel, giving you the upper hand with stronger attacks, better defense, or some wicked game-changing effects. Now let's go over some additional extra deck monsters.
Synchro Monsters are summoned by combining the tuner monster with one or more non-tuner monsters. Tuner monsters look like regular monsters, but they have the word tuner in their card type. To synchro summon a monster, you first need one tuner monster with one or more non-tuner monsters that has a level on your side of the field. The level of these cards combined must match the level of the synchro monster you are trying to summon. These creatures can be accessed whenever you meet the criteria to summon them from the extra deck.
Xyz Monsters are summoned by overlaying two or more monsters of the same level as Xyz material. These materials can then be detached to activate the effect of an Xyz monster. These monsters do not have a level. Instead, they have a rank with different colored stars underneath the card's name. These monsters can also be summoned to the extra monster zone. Xyz Monsters can turn the tide of a battle in an instant, sending your opponent straight to the underworld.
Pendulum Monsters are a unique type of card that acts as both a monster and a spell card. They have two sets of effects. One when played as a monster, and another when placed in your pendulum zone as a spell. Each pendulum monster has a special pendulum scale number, which allows you to summon multiple monsters at once through a pendulum summon. By combining two pendulum monsters with a different scale, You can summon monsters from your hand or face-up extra deck, whose level falls between those scales. This is a powerful mechanic that opens up new strategies.
Link monsters are a unique type of extra deck monster that brings a new twist to gameplay. Unlike other monsters, Link monsters cannot be set or be switched to defense position. Instead, they have a Link rating, which determines how many materials are needed to summon them. These materials are typically face-up monsters from your field, and the Link rating also shows how many Link arrows the monster has. These arrows point to other zones on the field, allowing you to extend your plays by summoning even more monsters to those zones. By carefully using your Link monsters and their arrows, you can unlock powerful combos and take control of the duel.
Now that you know the basics, it's time to put your knowledge into practice. By combining your knowledge with careful planning, build your deck and hone your skills, and then step into the arena with confidence. The path to victory awaits. It's your move.
SideswipeeZ.